Hello, my name is Larry Martin and I'm a solutions consultant with Beyond 20. Today we're going to look at doing some creative things with the modifiers that you can use on text expressions within Cherwell. Had a customer recently who needed to make some modifications in their CMDB, and we used some modifiers and ran a one-step against the CMDB to make that happen for them. And I was just thinking of what to do for a video this week. I thought, it'd be really cool to show folks how to go about making modifications to a field based on other data in the system. Now, we have another video out there showing how to modify an email address to give you the first name, but I thought I'd take it a step further. If you look at the CMDB out of the box here, you'll see that all of their friendly names are the user's first name hyphen and either lap or desk for laptop or desktop. Then we have an IP address, and I thought, if we go into an advanced modifier, we could show how to pull each octet of that IP address out. And while we're in there, why don't we just totally change the friendly name? And so what we're going to demonstrate is how you can change the friendly name of your CMDB items here. We're going to take a field, we're going to remove everything after the hyphen, but including the hyphen, and then we're going to put the last characters or the last numbers of an IP address in there. Now, in essence, I could cheat because all of these IP addresses are 3 characters. For the last octet, they have 3 characters. But that's not as much fun. So what we're going to do is we're going to step through and grab each octet individually and then find that last octet that way, instead of doing like a left 3 from the end of the line, because we could just count 3 characters. We're going to separate these into their individual components. Now, I've also created a one-step, and I have a pop-up in that one-step where we can look at how, if, for example, you needed to get each individual number, there's a way you can do that, in addition to the way I'm going to go about grabbing just this last one. So let's step in here. Keep in mind we're going to get rid of the hyphen and whatever follows it. That's a fairly simple process. But when we start stepping into getting that last octet, and we're not going from the end counting left 3 and taking those 3 characters, it gets interesting. Also, you may or may not be aware, if you have a one-step, you can run that one-step against the currently selected record, which is the normal way you would do it, which is hit your one-step and then click the run or right-click and run. But if you notice, on this right-click, we have a run for group. And right now, my group is everything that is here. So we will, at the end, we're going to run the one step against the group so that we can update all of these records. And at some point I may turn around and do a video on showing how to take and use those same expressions in a one step to rename them to the hyphen lap hyphen desk. But that'll be for another video possibly. Alright, so our one step. We're going to edit this so you can see what it is. And none of this requires CSM Administrator Client. We can do all this through one steps in the CSM Client itself. The one step simply, we're going to start out by removing the hyphen and either lap or hyphen desk. So that is on the computer friendly name, so we bring our computer friendly name field. Then we right click on it and we throw on a modifier. Now for that modifier, we want to get the text before, from the start, the hyphen. So that means everything before the hyphen, not including the hyphen. So that we get the John, the Mary, the Zach, but not the hyphen lap or the hyphen desk. So that's the easy part for this expression. We're going to skip this for a moment. Then to update, we're going to come in here, and on the friendly name again, we're going to do a custom expression because we just updated the friendly name to be John, Mary, Zach, etc. So now what we need is to replace that field with that new computer-friendly name and a modified IP address, because I said I want to take the last octet of the IP address. Now the modifier on the IP address gets fun because I said I'm not going to do the simple method of grabbing everything, counting 3 to the left, and there we go. So what I've done is I've stacked or done an advanced modifier here, and it's the same modifier 3 times because I have an octet and a period, an octet and a period, octet, period, and then my final octet. So what I need to do is in that string of 4 octets and 3 periods, I need to get the text that's after the first period. So we'll start here. And what that gives me is my second octet, third octet, and fourth octet. Then I need to get everything from there, which is going to give me my third and fourth octets. Then I do it one more time to get that final fourth octet. So in essence, we're stepping through here and we're saying, take this 4 numbers and 3 periods and turn it into 3 numbers and 2 periods, then 2 numbers and 1 period, and finally 1 number. Now that is a little bit different than what we're going to see here. So what I did here was I created a pop-up that will show you the breakdown of each octet individually. Now our first octet, we can't start with that period or dot or decimal. So the modifier to get the first octet is that we're going to look for all the text before, starting at the start, but before the first decimal or period. And that's going to give us our first octet. We don't have a decimal or period at the start, but we do have text, and we need to start from the start of that. Now our second octet, the way I chose to get it, is we're going to start, we're going to get the text after the period, the next number, then we're going to take that string and we're going to do the same thing we did for the first octet, and that's get the text from the start before the period. And we repeat that for the third octet. We're going to get the text to the end after the period, the text to the end after the next period, and then we're going to repeat that from the start, get the text before the period. Because at this point we're breaking it down into chunks. And finally our fourth octet, again I could have cheated, but it repeats what we do in this update business object here. Now by doing this together, this pop-up I could place it anywhere because we're going against the IP address, which isn't changing. But we're going to remove the hyphen, desk, hyphen lap, and then add the last octet of the IP address. So what we'll do now is we'll go to a single record. We're on John's laptop. Friendly name is here. IP address is here. What we expect to see when this is done is JOHN109 in that friendly name field. So let's go to our one step and we'll run it. I'm going to run it from the recently run. Here we have our pop-up. Our IP address is 10.10.2.109, 10, no dot, 10, no dot, 2, no dot, 109. So we've actually brought the octets across without any of the decimals in there. And once we close this, because this is in the middle, we have not actually added the IP address fourth octet into the friendly name. And there it is. Our records save. And we have accomplished that. Now let's go back and have our grid view, which in essence makes it a group. We're going to F5 because John got updated, but we did not refresh. And now we're going to take and go to the one-step manager again. We're going to right click and run for group. Now that the one step is ran, we still don't see that. But if I do an F5 to refresh, voila. We no longer have the -lap-desk, and we have the last octet of the IP address as the friendly name. Anyhow, this has just been a quick way to demonstrate some of the more advanced things that you can do with a combination of one-steps and text modifiers. As you go through your system, you may find other cases like you may need to update customer records or other CMDB items or fields in different places. Maybe you've created a special object and you all of a sudden find yourself needing to change a standard that you had previously had. We'd like you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We put these videos out on a regular basis. If you leave a comment and there's something we can help you with, we'll do that as well.